All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to No Guards Needed. I appreciate you from stepping in. And like I said, if you've been here before, this is just a podcast where we talk about who we are, what we do, and how we do it. So right now, again, I have another guest that I've cut before, and he decided to come on the show, which I'm super appreciative.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of course, bro. So let's go ahead and just start, man. Let's go. I don't want to introduce you. I want you to introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, sounds good. So it's kind of funny you asked that. At my company I work at, we literally just had a couple of weeks ago kind of like a what they call the art of hello. So it's kind of like you put yourself into like a an abbreviated kind of one-liner so people help remember. So I just kind of did an exercise.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
So my name's Travis Reynolds. I work with financial models and processes to help corporations kind of visualize, monitor, and achieve their corporate initiatives. So kind of can unpack that a little bit.
I was about to say, and let's go ahead and bring that out the box.
Exactly. And so really I'm on a finance team where it's like FP&A. So there's kind of like different degrees of finance. So you got like your kind of investment bankers, and then you got kind of like corporate finance, which is what I'm in. And so we do a lot of like budgeting and forecasting, kind of helping, this is where kind of setting and monitoring like corporate objectives kind of come into place. And so we come up with like the targets that are kind of higher ups that are kind of driving revenue, what they think that they can kind of achieve, and what kind of impacts that has on not only like financial statements, but like with, this is kind of where the finance piece comes into play, is like meeting kind of like debt covenants and like cash needs. And we have like a large private equity company that owns us. And so then we have to make like the board materials to then put, what our actuals are, how those actuals kind of vary from what we said might happen. A lot of times we'll chalk it up to like timing difference. Like we had this project that was supposed to happen. It didn't yet, but it's still kind of in the pipeline.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of just explaining more or less the story of the company, which is what how I got into it is, I found that most interesting, and I'm pretty good at Excel. And so
let's go.
Really breaking it down, like
let's go.
90% of my workday is in Excel. And I'm just like a cube rat grinding on Excels.
Hell yeah.
And, is what it is. They pay me decent to do it. And so there's worse things in the world. And so, I've been there for 2 years as of July. And so, but we're in like a grid infrastructure and consulting company. And so it's like, kind of our use case is, data centers are really big, like either Bitcoin mining or AI big server farms.
Got you.
And so, West Texas is a big area that they're targeting right now. And so we'll like help them find the land, either already have the land and, kind of package that up into a deal and sell it to them, or we'll kind of like broker the deal. And then we'll do the grid infrastructure to get them connected to the power grid. So the overarching ERCOT, ERCOT is kind of like
the Texas grid.
The Texas grid.
Yeah, one of them.
A couple years ago when that storm happened.
They
got a lot. Yep. A lot of people found out what ERCOT was. Mostly when it messed up.
Yes, sir.
And so we'll get them connected to the main grid, and then work with the what's called the reps, the retail energy providers. So like the TXUs of the world, we'll negotiate their contract to get them a good kind of dollar per kill, or like price per
I see it
hour.
Trying to making it worth their while to do something like
exactly,
that. Right.
So we kind of like package all of our services into like, well, you gotta essentially, if you want this, you need us to do all this for you.
Dig it.
And so it's really interesting. And so it's kind of our background kind of started, our CEO, or not CEO, our founder, who's a tech guy. I'm also a tech guy. So
yeah.
me and him get along.
Hell yeah.
But essentially he was out in Midland, worked with oil guys, and it kind of started with like all these oil drillers. They need, they still need electric power out there. And those guys were kind of getting bent over by the reps because they were kind of like,
okay, you need us so we can do whatever we want to.
So it's like, all right, we
sense.
started needing to pull these people together so that they had some sort of negotiating power.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how the idea of our company kind of got going.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly new company too.
Yeah. So they've been around, I think like early 2000s was when he really like started it. And it was mostly like oil and gas contract driven. And then really in the last 5-10 years as when Bitcoin mining and all that kind of
started really kicking up.
And started like, okay, these guys use a ton of power. They need us. We're going to make a buttload off them.
Yeah.
And so, but we can also help them make a buttload. And you cuss on here? I don't.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. Okay. Come on, man. Right, yeah, absolutely. We're in a fucking barbershop.
And so, yeah, man. And it's kind of interesting. So, I got into this. I started kind of just doing some research on like data centers.
Okay.
And we have a couple of the largest in the world are like our customers. And I started like looking at what differentiated them from other data centers.
Right.
And it's like what we do for them, which is kind of like full circle back into what I do. So I'm kind of over what's the load management division. So they'll like hedge blocks of power. And so they'll get like at a certain amount of megawattage, they can kind of buy like a contract for that and set it at a price. And so whenever like that Winter Storm Uri happened and prices just skyrocketed, one of our customers, they made more off these contracts that we did for them in 10 days than they did their whole year.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it's an absurd amount of money.
Wow.
And so it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And so,
it sounds kind of niche too at the moment.
Niche.
Yeah.
But it's also, one of my buddies who's an old, he, calls me a tree hugger just because,
that's funny.
We have like a renewables division and all that. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
So it's just like, well, I mean, kind of, but oil and gas is where we started. And also it's like electricity is kind of a big deal. And so
everybody needs it, right?
Yeah, everybody needs it. And so with kind of the data centers coming on, a lot of people kind of complain about like, how much power they take up. But in getting back to kind of ERCOT, it like stabilizes our grid by these load management programs, because when power spikes up, usage gets really high, these data centers can like shut off and sell back that power to ERCOT. And so
it becomes like a continuous loop kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it helps really stabilize it, which is interesting because like that Uri situation, these what they call generators, like natural gas, who are like the ones that are driving a lot of the power that comes onto the market, they were in these programs. So they were like, ERCOT was shutting them off.
Yeah.
But they also needed them to produce. And so that's how kind of like that power situation came about. Was like, we're talking about this loop, but it got in a kind of like circular reference of we need power, prices are up, but like they're shut off because prices are up. And
shit.
Yeah. And so it got really close to being a lot worse than it even was.
Yeah.
And so eventually like they were able to pay these gas generators enough to essentially void that contract so they could then come on.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And so I was just talking to some of our engineers last week about that. And it's like, we were like within a minute of having power for like a while. And so,
how often do you think shit like that happens?
Man, it's rare because it has to be like an extended event that there's a lot of power lines knocked down, which was like preventing power getting to certain places.
Got you.
And then, that kind of circular loop was happening, and they have, Office Space, they fixed the glitch. And so now it's not,
I feel it.
Now like those gas gens are now like they're not even allowed to do it anymore. They're like, we can't risk
that, man.
people
Yeah.
dying.
Fuck
it was a bad situation.
That shit was horrible.
And so anyway, that's kind of like more or less the company I work for, kind of, and what I do in a nutshell is kind of like monitor our financial results and do like forecasting and stuff like that.
So basically, what your job is to do is make sure that the money is flowing in and flowing out in the right directions.
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
thing.
much. And that we are estimating that somewhat closely. Like,
Okay.
there's going to be, everybody knows that it's
Margin
it's
of
all
errors
guess.
or whatever.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
exactly know what's going to happen in the future, but
course.
it's like, are we doing our best work to try to get that as
And
close
just
as
projecting
possible?
in the right direction.
Exactly.
Dude.
Yeah.
So one, you were saying something. Did you know they have Excel games?
I have heard that like there's like Excel competitions.
Yeah, Excel competitions. Yeah, man, I kind of saw that. I saw that like a week or two ago, and it was like I was like, "Holy shit, who knew that Excel was like that, like a thing?"
It's funny too, because like I golf a lot, and Excel's kind of like golf. Like you think you're pretty good at it, but that's just because most people suck. Until you get around somebody that's actually really good, you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that you could do that.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And
holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's funny because like the company I worked at previously, there was this guy who was like a scratch golfer and amazing Excel. And so it's just like this guy. I'm trying to be more like this guy.
This guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I really like this guy, but fuck this guy. Yeah. But I really like this guy.
Yeah. Right. But it's like, sure, he's good at Excel. I know I could do most of that. But that scratch golf game was
that shit is where it's at.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, God, I need to get better.
So how did you first get into finance and accounting? Was it just like intentional, or did life kind of kick you that way in college?
A little bit of both, man. As kind of, so going into college, so I started college fall 2008, which I went into college with the idea of getting into real estate and kind of doing maybe corporate real estate. 08, 09 was kind of like more or less like the real estate crash, and there's like that all happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, maybe this isn't the best route. And so I was kind of like a general finance major doing that. And then it came really close to graduation time, and I didn't even really know investment banking was like a thing. Otherwise, I probably would have focused on that and tried to like go to New York and
Wall Street type shit.
Do that.
Okay, gotcha,
which would have had its pros and cons.
For sure. Your life would be completely
and then
different.
I also kind of like, I had a finance professor there that like, I took his class why all this was happening, and a lot of that was driven by those greedy sons of bitches up there.
Yeah, bro.
And so,
bro.
He always referred to them as like Goldman sucks, and like, he had very
That's awesome. I like that.
So I
like
kind
that.
of, had a kind of a skewed perspective on them.
I was about to say, you kind of guided your perspective in that
exactly,
too. Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
And so avenues to use my finance degree was like, a lot of it was like insurance. And I took an insurance class, and I was like, you know what? Insurance is mostly a scam.
I don't want to be a part of that.
It's just like, you force people to pay this in case they need it. But then if they need it, then you also up their rates, or you up their rates because other people are using the insurance.
It has nothing to do with them.
It's like I could be a great driver, but my insurance is still going to go up because, person XYZ sucks at driving and they've gotten in 3 accidents. And so now my rates are, rate suckers as they put on the commercials.
So it's kind of like it was rubbing against your morals and ethics kind of thing. Okay.
And then so because of that, trying to find something that I thought morally was good.
I like that.
I kind of ended up in auditing. And so I only needed to add like 2 accounting classes to get to also be an accounting undergrad as well. So I'd be a double major, finance and accounting.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
And then so I'm taking these accounting classes, and then it's like, well, if you're going to do an accounting undergrad, you might as well get your master's in it because, well, it was an abbreviated program, so it could be done. It was only an extra year.
Oh, let's go.
Part of that was half a semester doing an internship. And then,
oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take an opportunity of that?
So it's just kind of like steps just kind of falling.
Yeah.
Like, I just kept taking what seemed like the logical next step.
That's good.
And and so it's like, well, if you're going to do that, you might as well be a CPA. And so, ended up getting my master's, worked in a Big Four accounting firm here in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And did that for a couple years, and it had its pros and cons. That whole moral high ground that I was, more or less looking for.
I hear you. You want to feel good. You want to feel the best about what you do.
The real world,
yeah.
And you're just like, that's a myth. It's all these people have to hire you. You also have to keep them as a client, so you don't want to rub their feathers the wrong way by asking too many questions or digging too much into stuff. Because, this firm that I was specifically at, we had a handful of major clients, and if you did something to piss them off, you're out the door. It's like,
oh, that sounds hostile, bro. That's crazy.
That's more like a high level look at what it was. On the day, it wasn't really like that, but on the day to day, when I started kind of looking 5 years in advance of what I wanted for myself, I was like looking at what the managers were doing. I was like, that life looks miserable. I don't want to do that. I'm okay. I'm 23, 24.
Oh, you're a kid still.
Yeah, I'm still a kid.
Oh, man.
And then it's like, so I don't mind, I'm mid-20s. I don't mind grinding. But
yeah, of course.
Not getting paid much.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I grinding for? For the hope to make partner in 10 years if I,
kissing
suck
the
the metaphorical right one enough for them to invite me in. Yeah. And so I was like, man, maybe this isn't for me. And I was busy all the time, dude. I was, health was going down. It's just like if I had free time, I was just drinking.
Was that more coping with everything going on kind of thing too?
It was a stress coping. And it's like, if I'm not working, that was like how I was having fun, was like going out and drinking with my friends.
Especially at 26.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The next thing you know, I'm getting up to 250. I'm looking like a fat. I saw myself in a picture. I was like, oh shit, I look terrible.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah. And so
I need to do something about this shit.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an eye opener. I just kind of wanted to make some changes. Granted, I could have stayed there and made some health changes, but it was also like,
sounds like you're looking for you're coming at it more holistically. You're looking at everything.
Exactly. It wasn't.
I like that.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to make a change. So, ended up taking a role, doing financial reporting and they're like SEC filings for this oil company that had like a public aspect to it. And so I would be more so giving the information to our auditors and kind of doing that. And it was the easiest job I've ever had. It was so chill.
Hell yeah.
Like half days on Fridays.
Hell yeah.
It was beautiful.
It sounded like you went like 180.
Yeah, I went 180.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Okay.
But it was kind of like all the things I did like about being in public accounting, I gave up to get rid of all the things I didn't like. Like
understood.
I now had a pretty chill job that wasn't stressful, had a lot more free time. During that free time was able to like focus and get my CPA to help my future. And then, but at the same time, the good thing about public accounting was like shared suffering brings people close together.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Absolutely. And it's like the military term.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
So all those and I still have a good friend base from that.
Hell yeah.
But I went from working with a bunch of people my age that we were really tight knit to I was pretty much the youngest guy in the office. And I was kind of I had my own office, which was cool rather than being like a data cube, but also have my own office, totally secluded from everybody.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time by myself.
That's depressing.
I had, so it was kind of depressing in its own way.
Exactly.
And
it sounds like at that point you're starting to learn okay, with this comes this, with this comes
For
this.
sure.
What do I like? You're searching.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Always
hell yeah.
searching, man. And it's like the grass isn't always greener, but you
That
know,
part.
also like the grass might be greener over here, but this shit is barren if you look over here to the left on it.
Understood.
And you know, a good metaphor, you know, you want the grass greener, water
that
it.
bitch. Yeah, exactly.
So
Hell
it's
yeah.
like I could have done things to improve my situation. I could have like changed departments. And so anyway, I don't look at it on like regret. I just don't think I'd necessarily handle the situation best way that I could have.
I mean, that's life, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
there's
life.
a lot of decisions that I've made in the past that either you can choose to regret or you can choose to say, well, I learned something.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
that perspective is a huge thing. Because if you regretting things
Right.
constantly, I mean, you're going to hate your life.
Yes. You're gonna
like
hate
no
it.
matter what.
Absolutely.
Like,
and then you think every decision you ever made was wrong.
Yeah. And then
versus-
where you're at now, it's hard to be happy because you're too worried about like, oh, I'm only here because I fucked up.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
something.
And that's one thing
Yeah.
is like where I'm at in life now, I absolutely love.
Fuck.
Like it's
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Let's
it's
go.
like my career's one thing. It's the story ain't over on my career, that's for sure. But it's like I'm happy with where I'm at.
Fuck
but
yeah.
then also, you know, as I was telling you before we started, you know, I got a 5-month-old son now, and you know, I couldn't be happier with that. And then I got an awesome wife who's just
Hell
like
yeah.
the funniest girl I've ever met in my life. So it's like,
Dude,
you're
fuck
young,
yeah.
you're
Come on.
a young man listening to this. If you
Come
find
on.
a funny girl, marry her.
I did.
Yeah,
Dude, my wife makes me laugh so fucking much, bro.
Because women typically aren't funny. No offense.
Yeah, but
it's
yeah, I get
just
it.
like, and that just us being able to just like hang out and
Yes,
just have the
dude.
time of our lives, just
Yes,
you know,
dude.
on the couch bullshitting.
Dude,
is
and if
great.
you wouldn't have made those decisions that you did in the past,
Like,
you wouldn't be right
and,
here
you
right
know,
now.
I kind of met, like I was talking about that close knit group that I had. I met her through them.
See?
And so,
See?
you know, life kind of works out like that. But had I still been there, I was still been grinding. I just wouldn't have.
You
really
might have
had
missed
the
that
time.
opportunity
Exactly,
completely.
man.
You might not even have seen her for what she was there because you were
Exactly.
too busy fucking
Right, worrying
grinding
about
out
my own shit.
Yeah,
and, you
bro.
know, and it's kind of, you know, on that front, you know, I was still, even though I was at that oil company, it was a chill job. I was also working on a CPA, and I joked about this with her all the time because like I literally just started studying when I met her, and so I took my first one, I failed it, and
Your fault, girl.
yeah, well, I was like, honestly, if I didn't like you so much, I would break up with you because I need to get this done. But you
That's
know,
fucking
she was
funny.
also a CPA, so
Okay.
she's also motivating me and understood that I needed to spend more time on that because, you know, like
Bro,
I'll
that's
study for like a little bit
huge.
after work, then I'll go to her apartment
Yeah.
and we'd hang out, and it's like that wasn't the best use of my time. But it was also, it kind of was because I was also setting this foundation because you know, we got along great, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is going somewhere. So it's like, I need to set that foundation too,
Hell yeah.
and knew I would have another chance at CPA and wouldn't necessarily have another chance at her.
Well, look, you were tilling
Yeah.
the dirt, creating that good
Exactly.
foundation to water
Right.
that
You know,
grass.
I was
You know what I'm saying?
trying to water my grass, you know?
Exactly,
And,
bro. Exactly.
So
Hell yeah.
it's kind of, like I said, I don't look at it as regret, but there's, you know, life lessons to be learned from it of don't just bail if you aren't necessarily, if it's not necessarily going how you want it to go type situation, you know, dude.
Take a step back, kind
Take
of
a
look
step
at
back,
it.
see what, you know, stones you can flip over, what, you know,
Exactly.
what you could, how a current situation could be better by your own accord rather than just like throwing it in the towel and saying, F it, I'm out of here.
Hell yeah.
You know?
So it's cool to have you on here because, and I'm glad that I had you on here because the last guest that I had was a young kid named Ryan who's getting into finance.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm listening to what you were saying, a lot of what you said, you essentially got into finance to do, realting,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's kind of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of these younger cats that I'm talking about, that's almost like the catch-all for everybody, it seems. Like when you
Yeah.
first get into finance, that's what you're
For
thinking
sure.
about, or the trading stuff or what Wall Street type
And,
stuff.
You know, it's like doing that, you can make some fucking money.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
for sure. But those dudes are grinding. And I didn't really like,
So I guess
see it firsthand that much. Sorry,
Yeah.
Until last year when we sold to like our current private equity owners per se, we were working with an investment banking group, and the girl that was like our main contact over there that was helping the most, that girl worked so freaking hard. Dude, we'd be on calls at 2:00 in the morning, and we'd come up on a decision on how something needed to be modeled out, and our CFO would just be like, all right, Hannah, will you get this to us in the morning? And we'll get it run through on our end too. And so it's like, it's 2:00 in the morning. So it's like, get it to you in the morning.
That's like 8:00.
Yeah. That's like,
that means you're not sleeping.
I'll knock it out in the next 6 hours and have it to you. I'll sleep tomorrow. And yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I dodged a bullet by not trying to go down that world. Granted, it would be nice to make $300K, but it's also like
quality of life, bro.
Quality of life,
quality of life, dude.
Sure, you're saving money, and that number in your account looks cool, but like, are you living?
Dude, literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can, this might be hard to drill it down to like one experience, but maybe a collective experience from more, but what's something early on in your career that kind of like shaped how you see money, business, and work? Like, what was that? Did you have a major event there? You were just like, cause you kind of touched on it, but like, did you have something major that made you go no or yes? Or was there a few different things that happened?
There's probably a few different things that have kind of like happened on how I've kind of seen, money in general, work-life balance in general. So, and this is like way before my career even started. So when I was, and this is something I don't like typically talk about with people, but when I was a kid, my dad got sick.
Okay.
And so he got ALS, which
shit, bro. That's huge.
Yeah. Anybody that's ever been around it's so devastating. And so essentially he didn't have life insurance.
Fuck.
So he was working, like, he was the first person I ever saw work remotely from home, but he's like, I don't even know what he did. He passed away when I was 11. I don't actually know what he did.
Right.
But it was some sort of government job. And he was able to, like, they sent him up with like a laptop back in like the mid 90s when laptops were like new. Yeah. It's kind of
that's
wild.
Crazy.
And so he was still able to like work while sick, and later in life, I was like, that's the last fucking thing I want to do. I do not want to work until the day I die because I wasn't able to ensure financially set up my family enough to where I have to do this just so I can help kind of provide.
Understood.
Until literally, like, I think he worked up until like that last year, and it was just like that last year you could barely even move.
Damn.
And so
he actually taught you just by the things that he didn't have. He taught you what to strive for.
Yeah,
which is kind of instilled in something.
And I hate that's part of his legacy to me, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It's kind of like,
there's a lot of shit I learned from my parents that I didn't do because they did.
Yeah, right.
I'm just being honest.
And, that's part of what life is, seeing what they did right, what they did wrong, and learning from it.
Exactly.
And so I don't know. And then my mom, she's an accountant. She's been, and she's able to provide for us, gave us, a good life on pretty much a single mom's kind of salary for most of it.
And you have so you have siblings?
Yeah. So I have a sister.
Okay, you have a sister. Okay, so it's you two.
Which is kind of like, we kind of took it opposite ways. And so she, was an accountant, not a CPA, but was still able to provide a nice life. And so when I'm kind of looking for what I want to major in or do for my career, I was like, well, we weren't poor, and
hell yeah, huge. Good job, Mom.
For better or worse, I'm a white male, so I think I'll make more.
I mean, we call it how it is, right? That's awesome.
And
I'm not
so-
mad at it, bro.
And I was like, well, also if I get a CPA, that's also going to make me more desirable. And so,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it didn't take long for me to, you know, being young in my career to catch up to what she was making 30 years into her career. And,
Hell yeah.
you know, and so that,
I mean, as a parent, that's all you want for your kids,
exactly,
too. Is to do
you
better
know,
than you
and
do.
I think she loves that.
Fuck
She
yeah.
absolutely loves that I'm a CPA, but it also makes her just want to talk accounting to me. And I'm just,
You're like,
Mom,
Mom, stop it.
Stop. I got out of the accounting department because in general, accounting's boring as shit.
Right,
And
right.
so that's how I got into like being on the, you know, FP&A side of being more on towards the decision making of the company rather than recording what's already
Understood.
happened. You're
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah.
like,
Well, you're
helping
into
guide the
action a
company.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hell yeah.
And so that kind of, you know, more or less answered your question on kind of what drove me into kind of the direction, how I kind of see money and how, you know, and then I don't know, like I'm more of a saver per se than my wife is.
Okay.
But I also like had to kind of explain that situation to her not too long ago of like the reason I have life insurance and like disability insurance is because of what I saw my dad
And
go
what your
through.
experience
And like,
is. Yes, sir.
you know, and I think because I did that, and I'm not going to die. It's like,
Of course. Yeah, no, I
because
get it. I get that.
Because
Yeah.
I'm actually insured and I'm prepared for it, I'm not going to need it. But, you know, it does, you know, it's that money coming out monthly. And, you know, I'm typically tighter on money than my wife is. And she's like, I don't understand where all your money goes because I don't really buy shit for myself. I'm like, well, I'm also like saving and investing and insuring.
Dude, me and my wife were
doing-
talking. I'm like, I'm always broke, but
Yeah.
I'm never broke.
Yeah,
But I'm
exactly.
always broke.
It's like, I'm just not very liquid.
Exactly,
You know?
bro.
And
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
And I'm not like, I don't know. I have some money that I like play the market with, but I'm too emotional and make
Me
stupid decisions.
too.
And it's like,
Bro.
I sold something earlier this year at like, that was at like $30, and I just looked. Now it's at like $350. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Look,
dude.
man.
You had been holding that so long,
Dude.
and then you sold it, and then it goes up, and I was like,
I had
Of course.
Ethereum. Like, so
Yeah.
me and my buddies got into,
Zcash is what I was talking
Dude,
about. If you ever heard
I've
of
heard
Zcash.
Zcash, yep.
Yeah. Oh,
so
man.
me and my buddies got into, I'm a super nerd, bro. I
Yeah.
just never like went to college for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So like Bitcoin, me and my buddy were building Bitcoin rigs, all that stuff.
Love that, dude.
I got into, this was shit 10 years ago,
Yeah?
12 years ago.
Shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I finally got into, I bought Ethereum on
Yeah.
Coinbase
Uh-huh.
and forgot about it.
Yeah.
Right. I
10
bought
years ago you bought it?
Dude.
Oh yeah.
I fucked up. That's
Oh.
the I fucked
Yeah,
up.
I know that feeling.
So like I forgot about it, and then a few years later, COVID happened, and I'm sitting at the fucking house twiddling my thumbs, and
Yeah.
I was just like running through shit, you know, and I was just like, oh yeah, let me go check this, bro. I made like I was at like 10 grand.
Oh,
I
sweet.
put like 20 bucks in, and I was
Yeah.
at 10 grand, and what did I do?
Sold that shit.
I fucking took that shit out,
Yeah, of course.
like a fucking idiot.
So it's like people that say, it's like people that say, oh, I should have bought Bitcoin, you know, way back when. It's like you would have sold that.
you would
You would have sold.
you would have sold it.
That's what I
You
tell
would have wanted
myself, too, 'cause
something.
It's like I knew about it when it was kind of like first coming out. I kind of like heard about it, and it was a lot harder to get back then because you had to actually get
Dude,
it on like
yes.
a separate wallet.
Yes,
And now it's
yes.
like, oh, dude, you can download an app, put your bank account info,
Bro.
and you can buy it in 10 minutes.
You can gamble with it on fucking
Yeah, exactly.
These
on
what-
Robinhood, Coinbase,
all this shit, bro. All this shit.
And
Bogata.
It was the barrier to entry was a lot higher back then.
Yeah.
and it's like, man, if I would have just put $100 in it then, it'd be, you know, $1 million now. But it's like,
Oh, bro.
you would have sold that.
I would have saw 500. I would have saw $100,000 and been like, you.
Dude, I would have saw 1,000 and sold it and
I'm
got
just
some
so.
beer
I'm,
and some pot.
I think, dude, straight up, bro, straight
Yeah.
up, dude.
So it's like I try not to, you know, like we're talking about regret. I try not to regret.
I just try to laugh at it because I was
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
God, I mean, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Admit
yeah.
I don't know shit. I'm
I'll
an
never
idiot.
forget that though.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, for sure. And so,
promise you.
yeah, I try to hold now, you know, try
Yup.
to hodl, try to
Yup.
just hold on for dear life and
Absolutely.
hopefully it goes up.
So, when we get to like more of like the human side of things,
Mm-hmm.
so finance can obviously be like super stressful,
Yeah.
super high stakes. So how do you personally manage any of that pressure that comes your way? And how does that, I guess with that, like adding on to it, your type of personality, does that help you or does that hinder you in certain things when we get to that stressful point?
So I think one of my good attributes and where it kind of translates well into what I do is I'm pretty even kill.
Okay.
And so like, not saying I don't get stressed, but I try to keep things in perspective of this is a short term, and a lot of it's like deadline based. And so it's like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can make it to this point.
Heard.
You can grind it out to that. And then you don't know necessarily when the next tunnel's coming, but at least, there's a light at the end that you hit this point. It's kind of like, if you're running, you're like, all right, if I can just make it to this stop sign, if I can just make it to this this next block, it's just like trying to keep, not only perspective, but also just keep your head down, keep going. Cause like I was talking about, we had that transaction that was like last year, and that was like some of the longest hours I've worked. But also I didn't even have it as bad as other people. Like I was talking about that girl that actually worked for the investment bank. It's like, I'm getting off the call at 2 and going to bed. She's getting off the call at 2
and going to work,
opening a Red Bull and keeping going. And it's like, all right, then
that's brutal.
It's brutal, dude. And like, I don't know. I try to keep that perspective of, I don't have it the worst.
Yes.
I'm, decently compensated for what I do. And so, and there's a lot of times where my job's pretty chill, and like, this is just kind of like, with the chill times also comes intense times. And
of course.
It's like, you gotta, if you're going to take those weeks where you're really only having to work 25, 30 hours, then you also got to take the weeks where you got to work 60 to 70.
Right. And just kind of, I guess, keep it in your mind. Like, I do get, when I'm feeling like I'm fucking,
right.
You're like, I do get breaks.
Yeah.
It's not like this breaks. Forever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And so on the like, more or less 9 to 5 on the actual jobs style, that's kind of what I try to keep in mind, how I try to keep it even kill. But then in life, like also getting out on a golf course is where I kind of like can decompress. If I'm playing decent, it's relaxing.
I was about to say, bro, I was like, that could go either way.
Out there on like, I've had a stressful week, and then I just slice one into the street. I'm just like, why do I fucking spend money on this? Yeah. What am I doing, dude? I should have just gone home, done some yard work.
That's so funny, dude.
And so that also, that's also why I like golf, is like, it's kind of like life on that front. It's like, not every day is going to be the same. Some days you think you got it figured out and you're doing well, and other days it's like you've never touched a club before. And it's
that
like,
is a fact when it comes to golf. That is a fucking fact.
And then it's like, you have your end target that you're trying to get it to, and it's not how you get there, it's how many tries it takes to get there. And then if you mess it up, you got another one. You got another shot at it. And so, and also, how I really got into it was during college, and it's like, oh, we can smoke and drink and bullshit with friends. And it's like, this is what I would do at the house anyway.
But we're outside. We're getting some fucking sun and shit. Exactly. Man. And some community too.
Some community.
That's a big thing.
Like, now it's like, my friends that I see often are the ones that I golf with. Like, I have other buddies that don't golf, and it's like, it's a lot harder to kind of sell to the wife. I'm going to go have beer with my buddy,
and sit down
and sit
not
down
do shit
for a few hours.
Yeah.
You don't want to hang out with me? I was like, it's not that I don't. I did just see you for the last 36 days in a row. Can go. I'm going to come back home tonight. I'm not going to see you.
And then the golfing thing gives you like 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours of a absolutely.
And and it's just fun, dude. I just enjoy the shit out of it. And it's like, I also need something to try to get better at and try to like improve upon.
Yes, sir.
That's like,
it's huge, man.
That's not just like work.
Yeah.
It's just something purely for me.
Yes.
And getting the satisfaction of beating my buddies is just icing on the cake. Yeah.
Great.
Just love it.
Well, I think that I think it's important to, especially when you have a family and all that stuff, it's important to have something that you can be selfish about.
Yeah, for sure. And and it's like also like, you know, my son's only 5 months, but I think it would be important for him to see me working at something that I want to get better at.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
that I'm kind of driven, because it's not like he's going to see me at the office. He's just going to know I go to work and I'm not there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, if I can take him on the golf course.
I was going to say, it's
like,
something you can potentially share as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's huge.
I, can't wait for the day that I get to actually like play with him.
Fuck yeah.
And hopefully he likes it. You know, even if he doesn't, he's going to tolerate being out there for a few hours.
Absolutely. Until your ass is like 16, 15 and you have other shit to do. Right. Like your ass is going to be coming with me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
dude.
fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm excited about that, man. And it's just like, I kind of mentioned, my dad earlier. And so I think having, just the fact that I was blessed with a healthy son, it's just like, my God, this is just what I've always wanted.
Well,
and to be
also,
the dad that that I didn't, not out of his will. It wasn't, there's dad situations where like the dad's a deadbeat and just like
not there because
he
doesn't want to
be there.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody's got their own internal battles going on. And so it's like, even like, the quote unquote deadbeat dads that aren't there, it's also like they got their own issues that they're fighting through, dude. And it's like, I don't, have a ton of hate for them, but it's also, my dad wasn't there, not out of his choice at all.
He didn't have a
Had
choice. Yes.
He would be there, but it's
and now you get to be to be that.
Yeah.
And that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, dude. I'm
that's
pumped about
that's
it.
fucking amazing.
And,
bro.
Getting into that, it's kind of also in the last year when we kind of found out my wife was pregnant, a little over a year from today ago. It really like this overwhelming like sense of gratitude really started coming through.
Oh, that's awesome, bro.
And it's like
that's
I really
fucking awesome.
Kind of started getting a little bit more religious and spiritual.
Yeah, it'll fucking do that.
Yeah, dude,
it'll do that
absolutely.
To you.
And then
you
realize how much like is not in your control, and that was like a big thing. It's like I was just like praying a lot and like, very grateful to even have this opportunity. And then like my family, dude, we've had. My mom's had a rough go, and her sister. So my aunt, they have 2 kids that have like severe cerebral palsy, and so they like
shit, dude.
Yeah, oh, dude,
oh my gosh,
dude, my family rolling up somewhere when I was a kid was a scene, dude. It was just like 3 wheelchairs, multiple caregivers. It was just
goodness,
just the saddest looking family. Granted, like.
But I mean,
people have good attitude.
I was about to say, there's probably so much hope and so much gratitude and appreciating.
A lot of we might be like the saddest looking, but like we're probably the ones laughing the loudest.
Fuck yeah, you are.
I
mean, you appreciate. I feel like that gives you the opportunity to see life in a light that people who don't have to deal with struggle get.
Absolutely, I think so, and I think that's where a lot of like my perspective kind of comes from in life, is seeing how bad shit can really get,
bro.
Dude. And
do you think that contributes to your even keelness?
Yeah, I think so a lot.
For sure.
I think so a lot.
For sure.
It's like, yeah, this might suck right now, but not only can life be way worse, I've been through way worse. And it's like,
bam.
Yeah. And it's like, this isn't the hardest. The hardest thing I've gone through, I mean, I went through as a kid. And so it's kind of like
everything's downhill from there, right?
And, and only thing you can do is put one foot in front of the other, man. I mean,
absolutely.
You keep going, and stopping isn't an option,
So would you say that now what is driving you in life and driving you in career and who you are as a person has changed and went from, personal development, personal things to family and what you can be an example of?
Yeah, but I think they're kind of tied together. I think my personal development and career development also ties to the life I would like to provide for my son and family. And it's like my wife, she works as well, works hard. On a standard year, she makes more than I do, which is great. But it's also like, I think one of the biggest flexes you can have is making enough to where you can have a great life, but your wife doesn't have to work.
Absolutely. We all want that shit.
Yeah. And
That's not going to happen.
I am far
but
from
that's gonna,
that. Yeah.
that shit ain't happening right now. But
the lifestyle she wants us to have.
Bro, come on.
We're going to start buying some lotto tickets.
Look,
gotta do
I feel that, dog, 100%, bro. If I could retire my wife, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But that shit ain't happening.
That shit ain't happening right now.
Not right now.
We got to have a few breaks going on.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Grinding,
hell yeah.
keep improving, and hopefully, things shake out.
So how would you say what's the biggest change from your motivation when you were in your 20s versus your motivations now in your 30s?
No, man. Well, even then, because I was saying, it's like a lot of my perspective is driven by what I saw as a kid. So it's like even in my 20s, granted, I hadn't met my wife yet, but I just always, I had a feeling it was going to come.
Hell yeah.
And so it was like the goal never stopped of trying to make a good living that could provide, a better life than I had, even though like I didn't have a bad life or financially didn't have a bad life.
You just want to I get it. You want to be able to step it up.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get that. Level up type shit.
I feel like that should just...
That's normal.
That's normal, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah. My kid better fucking do better than I did.
Exactly. And so if I can set that bar, and and I think that's also what will come with being, whenever you are able to provide a nice life for your kid, because adversity drove so much of like how I am. And
dude.
So, you want to protect your kid, but
you gotta make sure they're in adversity.
They gotta have their own challenges, and you gotta let them figure that shit out. And like, I think trying to feed their own motivation and whatnot, I think that's a challenge that's going to come in the years.
Yeah.
Him now, it's like
his challenge now is like,
make sure he gets fed.
I'm about to say, yeah, exactly. Learn how to use the potty in a few months. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
so
a few
we're
year
still very early on, but I'm already kind of thinking about those
That's
things.
good though.
So it's like,
that's very intentful.
Motivation wise, like when I was 20s, it was like, how am I setting up a good foundation for myself when I'm in my 30s and 40s? Mm-hmm. And so that's, when I was like, I had to get my CPA. And there was a lot of times where I just didn't want to do it. It's like studying sucks.
Yeah.
Accounting's boring as shit. I don't really want to do this.
Yes.
But if I can get those 3 stupid letters on my resume, it adds to what my baseline kind of level is on anywhere I go. Mm-hmm. And so that was like the motivation then is still kind of, I'm kind of more or less reaping the benefits of that now, but it's still motivating now is how can I continue to grow and, provide even further,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, dude. So with their motivation and your drive and everything like that, has there been like a moment or a deal that you've worked on, that you're particularly like super proud of and you're just like, I fucking did that shit? And
yeah, man, there's been a couple. There's been and it's like what I do, it's more like models and processes that I've developed essentially from scratch that have made the lives around me easier as far as like, so in my previous company, it was a private equity company. And so how they make money is like, they have a bunch of like essentially funds that pay management fees to the actual like corporate entity that runs everything. Right.
Got it.
But there's like hundreds of these funds.
Yes.
And so our tracking of management fees was in one Excel doc that just was a cluster. And so
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And so I made a model there to where, and it was kind of in this other kind of software, but every, fund accountant had their own dashboard that I set up that they would go in, put what their management fee estimates were for the month. And then it would all feed into what then our corporate team would then just like, rather than having to track it on themselves, the individual fund accountants were responsible for tracking it. And so they were able to just like take what they're using, aggregate it, and then it spit out the entry that they use to
Fuck
make
yeah.
their life a lot easier.
So you like streamlined it basically.
Yeah, streamlined the process.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and so that's probably
That's
one of the
fucking
things,
cool, man.
Yeah,
to be able
that's
to build
probably,
something like that.
The
That's
one thing
dope.
that I've built that I felt like was all me.
I know some shit, baby.
Yeah, I can do some shit. You know?
Hell yeah.
Let me just like put my headphones on, get down, and just get right on something, dude. We can spit some shit out.
That's dope,
And
dude.
then, you know, my current company, we have like what we call a pipeline, which is essentially just what like our monthly actuals kind of feeds into, and then for what I do, like it's like driven a lot by like ERCOT pricing, by like our various like hedges that we have active, and like what our actual like volumes are that have gone into the market. And so kind of, and that pipeline, whenever I took it over, was an absolute mess. And then really this year, I rebuilt that thing from the ground up, and now it works a lot better. It's a lot easier to see the results, where we're projecting, what, you know, what's driving those projections. And so it's like a couple, like, I won't say deals that I brought in, which would be cool, but it's like, that's just not the field that I'm in on, like, you know,
I heard.
Which would be nice to get into that. And I think my personality would do well in that, but it's just, you know, where I'm at has been a series of logical kind of, you know, door openings that I've been able to get in through. And like, I've tried a couple times to get through that next door, and it's just like, time wasn't right. It just didn't work out. You know?
Got you.
And so I am where I am. And so those kind of like various kind of, you know, projects that I've done, I feel like have made not only my life easier, but other people's lives easier, and has streamlined various processes that have been good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Now you seem to have more, from what I do know about you, is that you have more of a, or at least you kind of lean more to an extroverted personality. Do you feel like in your career field, seems like there's more introverted people in your career field that I've come across.
Right.
And do you think that being extroverted helps you? Or do you think that it makes things a little difficult for you because you might push up against those introverted personalities?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's, I definitely think my, you know, extroversion helps when communicating with the operations team, and then using that to then also communicate with like our accounting team. And I think that communication, kind of understanding those different kinds of styles of communication, helps a lot. I think it has been, I don't know, detrimental might be the right word, but it has been less helpful when I'm dealing with my own higher ups. And I am more of the type to kind of push back, hold my ground a little bit more, rather than just like, yes, ma'am. Yep. Whatever you say. Yep. I typically think I'm right until proven otherwise.
Heard. Brother, I understand you.
And I, you know, and there's been plenty of times where I have been proven wrong. And it's like, okay, you know, you make a good point, and we will take that and go with it.
But you damn well better make that point.
But you better make the point.
You better be able to back it up too.
Just like,
I hear that.
Tell me I'm wrong without a reason why I'm wrong.
I hear that.
And where is my, like, if you find fallacies in my logic, let's talk about it. Because I'm going to be able to break out my logic on where I got to something or why I did something. And if like, you're just going to say that it's wrong because the result isn't what you want,
that ain't good enough.
No. Tell me where I'm wrong. Like, you know, I'm trying to say what is most likely going to happen, but that's kind of also the line that I'm still struggle with in my kind of role is what I'm saying is going to happen rolls up into what we're saying is going to happen out of the whole. So if I come off of what a projection has previously been, and it lowers that significantly, and that's just like what my data says, that's what I'm going to roll with. But, you know, that's starting to change the overall corporate story, and tells a story they might not want to tell to you know, the white hairs that are sitting where they're sitting. You know, you got to maybe throw in a little growth wedge of, no, we're going to make this up somewhere. We don't know where or
Okay,
how.
I got it. So are you learning how to kind of soften the blow a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I know I struggled with that for a long time. Because for me, I always felt like if I'm softening a blow, I'm lying to you.
Yeah. And that, yeah.
But I mean,
exactly.
It's like that gray, you got to find that gray area, right? Yeah, I struggle with that.
And that's a lot. And I think I've gotten a lot better at it. It's like I said, I've only been there 2 years. And I think there was a point where we really significantly changed something that I didn't agree with about a year and a half ago that really inflated what our projections were. And I didn't have enough ground to stand on to say, that ain't going to happen. I mean, we can say you're the boss. We can say whatever you want to say, but that ain't going to happen. And then now it's coming to, okay, you're right. That's
validating, though.
Yeah, exactly. Let's knock this down to what we actually think is going to happen, and then we'll just come up with a way to make up for that somewhere else in the company. But what this is actually going to produce isn't, you know, this big pie in the sky. Yeah, another Storm Uri comes through, the grid goes to shit, prices go way up. Yeah, maybe we could do that, but we definitely shouldn't bank on that happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's like what's it called? That's like what's it called in stocks? Bearing or doing the
bear market.
Yeah, bear market. That's like bear market shit.
Yeah, exactly. And we're kind of in a bear market on that front.
Yeah.
So it's like last year I was just the bearer of bad news all year. All of it.
That has to suck.
Every month. I was like, yeah, we missed projections by 1.5 million.
Fuck.
Sweet. Yeah.
So you're like the guy that everybody hates, but it's really not your fault.
Yes, exactly. You know, just kind of
shit, man.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of glad that we got past that. And then now, like, they kind of let me do the projections how it really needed to be done. And we've been like spot on, if not a little bit better this year. And it's like,
fuck yeah.
Thank you. This is way better. This is way better conversation.
Now I get to come in with good news.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, that's, dude, I love that, bro. So, like, kind of bringing it to more of a conclusion, though, man. So, what's one lesson from your work in finance that has applied directly to life outside of work?
That's a good question. I would say realistic expectations.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know, you want to have high targets. You want to try to get those, but you know, what's really going to happen? And like kind of on a life front, I think a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a short time frame versus what they can do in the year. And if you are able to like stack on reasonable kind of progressions, then your where you are in life a year from now can be way different than where you are today. But you're not going to totally, you can, but you're not going to totally flip your life in 30 days. You know, you can set up a foundation of habits or perspectives or, you know, initiatives that you're implementing into your life to get to where you think your reasonable targets are for next year. And you could blow those out of the water if you stay with the path of what's logical, what makes sense, you know, take a look at where we are now, where we want to go, how do we get there? And I think that's that's a big aspect of where
huge.
they can kind of collide on a more abstract level. And then also, you know, you got your fiscal responsibility. Don't piss money away. Don't, you know, try to save, try to like do the right things, you know, but also, you know, life's short, have fun.
Hell yeah. So it's kind of like what I hear is stay with the middle ground. Because things are going to go here. Things are going to go here.
Go up and down.
Stay in the middle. You know what I mean? If you have a goal, do those things that you implemented and just focus. Like it's going to be okay. We'll get there eventually if you do the right things.
Things are going to kind of revert back to the mean. Like the low times aren't forever, but also neither are the high times. Like high times are great. Enjoy them.
Yeah.
But you know, shit's going to happen. And don't be shocked when it does. And when it does, don't let it wreck your life. And
that part. Learn how to roll with it.
Learn how to roll with it. And life's tough, dude. And like, we live in a very insulated kind of soft life. It wasn't that long ago. People were just grinding just so they could eat.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'm having to pay $5 for a burger or $10 for a burger now, whereas it used to be $5. Oh God, everything's going to shit.
I hear that.
It's like, dude, you're not having to
bro.
go kill the cow.
Hey, dude.
Nonetheless, raise the cow. Nonetheless, buy the calf.
Dude.
Have the land.
Prepare the damn cow. Fucking dude. Yeah.
So
that's a huge perspective, bro.
Yeah, dude. I think that gets lost on a lot of people, on like, people want to just bitch so much now.
Well, it's easier to blame it's easier to find something to blame why your life sucks than to just be like,
oh, for sure,
to find your own perspective on how to fit it in.
The personal responsibility that people have over their own lives is so lost on the world. Dude. And I think there's a push to kind of bring that back, which I think is good.
Yes.
But it's
going to be volatile to do that.
For sure.
It's going to hurt a lot. It's going to hurt.
The hard part about that is, for better or worse, your life is your responsibility.
Yeah.
And if you say, I can't believe this happened to me, this sucks, why would I even get out of bed? It's like, well, guess what, dude? You stay in bed, life ain't going to get better.
No, not at all.
You just stay at home, smoke weed all day, and do all that shit. Your life ain't going to get better. Take a class.
I mean, that was one of my hardest things growing up, dude, was in my 20s is the highs and lows, because nobody really taught me like emotional regulation. Right. So I was like, through my 20s, I'd be riding highs. Right. And then as soon as something bad would happen, my whole fucking life would crash.
Yeah, dude.
And I'd sit there for like 2 weeks being like, fuck. Yeah. And then I'd find myself find something else would happen, and I'd ride that high again. And then my wife actually taught me. My wife called that shit out on me, man.
Yeah.
I'll never. Yes, bro. One day I was bitching about something. She goes, Deshaun. I was like, yeah. She goes, you have no emotional awareness. I was just like, gee, no. What she said? She said, your emotional maturity is in the garbage. And I was just like,
what?
Yeah. I was thinking, I told her for that she had me stuck for a whole week when she said that shit to me, dude. But it changed, but she was right.
The great thing about being married is you have somebody else that is looking at you, dude. That, you
can't hide from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people avoid a mirror all day, every day,
bro.
But if you got somebody else in life that not only like is watching you, but also relying on you, or like is your teammate.
Yes, bro.
It's massive. And it's like, without that, I don't think we'll be together 10 years in May. And it's like, if without that, I don't know how I'd be over the last, I think I would be kind of similar. My savings account might be a little bit better, but I would have a lot less fun. It's just, I wouldn't have a growing family. I was just like, where I am today is so much because of her, and I love her dearly. I'm so happy. I love hearing people say that, because I feel like that. Yeah.
I've been with my wife for almost 10 years. Actually, it'll be 10 years. I think in December? Yeah. 10 years in December. It'll be like, I think I don't know. She knows. Yeah. I just know it's December.
Right. Yeah.
So in December, it'll be 10 years. And I feel the same way, man. Like, I was opposite from you, man. I know that if I didn't meet my wife, I would be in another country somewhere, living out of a backpack. I mean, probably like happy in the moment. Yeah. Right. But I would have nothing.
Right.
I'd have been that 50-year-old dude, 55-year-old dude that would have tons of stories, but absolutely nothing to show for it.
Just no real foundation.
Nothing. Because I had no foundation until I met my wife. Yeah. My wife is the one that kind of brought that foundation. Right. And if she basically, without saying it to me, she was just like, if you don't figure this shit out, I'll leave your ass. I love you.
For sure.
But I will fucking leave. Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I don't like that.
Another good aspect. It's and I saw this thing the other day. It's like, your wife is the only woman that, loves you conditionally. It's like, she is choosing to be with you.
Yep, every day.
And if you really go ahead and fuck your life up, she can walk out the door.
Yes, she can.
And then your life's really fucked
Then you're where,
up, you know?
then where you
And
at?
it's like your mom's always going to love you, but it's like this woman has a choice, and if she's a good one, she's got other choices too. If you let her,
Absolutely, bro. If you don't show up,
you got to show up.
Hell yeah, you have to show
bring
up.
something to the table. You can't take it for granted, and realize a good thing when you got it and try to keep it.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. You said it right on the fucking head. I remember the day I realized, I was like, the day I realized that I liked her was the day I stopped talking to her for like a week.
Oh, yeah.
I was pissed. Yeah. I was just like, oh, fuck, I really like this chick. Yeah. And I was like not ready for it.
Right.
But I remember calling my brothers, like my brothers are my friends. So my two brothers, I called them both and was just like, bruh, I was like, I'm not ready for this. But I think if I fuck this up, I think that if I don't say yes to this situation, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then they were both like, well, don't be a fucking dumbass, because that's what you usually do.
For sure.
And I was just like, okay.
Yeah. How about you try a new thing?
How about you try a new thing?
Fuck it up.
That part.
Weird.
Oh,
Never tried not fucking up.
Never tried. Now I'm 10 years and I'm a better person.
Odd.
Weird.
Odd. Yeah, man.
Dude. So if you weren't in finance, man, and if you had a fresh start doing anything else in the world, what would you be doing?
Man, that's a good question. Maybe engineering.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think engineering was another avenue that I pondered.
You're still building stuff, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the
That's
same.
Where I think I scratched that itch on being able to build models and stuff. But engineering on like having something concrete that you're looking at when you're done seems very satisfying. Whereas like mine is like, I got this, 30,000 kilobyte Excel document that's done. It's like, this isn't a building.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. It's less physical in the world.
It's less physical.
Yeah.
It's still serving a purpose, which, helps scratch that itch. It's making lives easier, which scratches that. But having something physical you're looking at, like I helped design that. That is shaped that way because of this problem that I solved, that it needed to look that way for a reason.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That seems super interesting.
Hell
And
yeah.
it's like, it's funny because right after college, one of my buddies, he was kind of in a career conundrum. Like he was just like, I'm not really happy with what I'm doing. So he started going back to school for his engineering degree. I was like, man, I'm kind of jealous that you're doing that.
Yeah.
And he ended up finding another job doing stuff. And he never finished it, I don't think, but at least like, I think getting that ball rolling also helped open up some other doors within life. And I think,
of course,
I think life also, they say like fortune favors the bold. I think just if you're in a situation that you're not happy with, just start going a direction.
So that brings before
you might not stay in that.
Yeah.
You might end up pivoting, but at least you're moving.
So that brings me to my next one. If you got to talk to that young Tyler, or for example, Ryan, who's about to graduate this semester, he's graduating and he's getting into his finance thing. What would be an advice for a young 22-year-old just starting out, like top 3 things or so, or how, whatever,
man.
like what would you say to that person?
I would say 1, embrace the grind especially while you're young. Realize you are setting up a foundation for yourself of hopefully hours wise is the most you have to work. Things typically get to where you're allocating to other people and you don't have to actually, grind out the 80 hours, but situations happen, you have to do it anyway. But embrace the grind. In career spots, some good advice that was given to me was look 5 years ahead, where this might look good now, but in 5 years, is there upward growth? Is there upward development?
Right.
Within that door that you're walking through.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like I was talking about, don't get too high or low. Like both are temporary. I've not studied in Stoicism, but I've read some on Stoicism.
Yes.
And it's very much like keep your perspective, stay focused, and if something bad happens, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, bro.
It doesn't define, that one event isn't going to define you, but how you respond to it might.
That part.
And
Absolutely.
if you let that just be the end of your world, and you just like go into a deep dark pit of despair, bro, because something didn't go your way, it's like, man,
don't do that to yourself.
You end up in a downward spiral, man. And it's like, I've now I have good perspective, but I've struggled with that throughout my life.
As we all have.
And it's a lot harder to catch yourself from a stumble than catch yourself from an absolute face plant of burning bridges, saying, F the world, F everybody around me. Nobody helped me out. Why would I help anybody else out? It's like, dude, that's
just like nihilism.
Yeah, nihilism is,
it's fucking killer, bro.
And it's just, that ain't a way to go about life.
No, dude.
It's
well,
like,
you're gonna hate everything and
you're
everybody.
Hate everything, man. It's like, somebody does something bad to you, try to do something good for somebody else and see how that might shake out.
And that's the best medicine. Yeah. It's the hardest medicine.
It's hardest. And it's also, I listen to a lot of Rogan. It's like, it's more or less selfish to do good things for others because it makes you feel so damn good.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
It's like, embrace that.
Absolutely.
Doing something you don't have to for other people. And it's kind of funny talking about my wife. She gets mad at me for giving homeless people money. And it's like, listen,
I got people in my life.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
That guy's down on his luck. That $20 might help him go buy a pair of pants and he can go to an interview.
Exactly.
And it's like, you never know. Yeah, he could go
buy some drugs or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
That's his prerogative. It's his own choice. Life's full of choices. I'm giving him an option to make a choice that could continue on where he's going, or he could do better. And so
I try to pay things forward as much as I can.
Pay things forward.
I try to be more aware of that now.
Yeah. And that is, same. I'm not saying I'm like,
I'm fucking
some upstanding
fuck yeah, bro.
About it.
No,
but it's like I
try my best
to give people generally the benefit of the doubt. But also all kind of words of advice, not only to like young professionals, but young men, your circle that you keep is massive. It's massive. And I didn't necessarily, and people would say that to me when I was young, but it didn't really make a whole lot of sense until I got older and my circle started getting smaller, but also the people in it were great people.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, just absolute great people. People that were driven, grinders, and it's like I grew up, and like the people I was hanging around when I was like early high school, not necessarily the case. And it's like, had I realized that younger, maybe I would have done something different, done something better, but also choices that I made ended up where I'm at. I'm very happy where I'm at. So it's just like, I don't know. I would say that.
I would 100% agree with you with the whole friend thing, because that was one of my downfalls.
Yeah.
Because I was a knucklehead, man, and I made a lot of mistakes as a kid. But my mistakes were never violent. Or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But I've made some fucked up dumbass mistakes that hurt me and people around me. But I knew that I was a good person at the end of the day, and I knew that maybe my actions weren't good, but they were just because I was a little fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So I always put that on other people, being like, oh, this person's fucked, but he's there's something inside of him, then he's gonna be fine, or they're gonna figure it out. I'd end up staying around them, and then I'd end up doing the same dumb shit. They'd bring me down
for sure, dude.
So that's one of my things too, is always telling people, like, your circle, man, like, you are who you hang out with. I tell my kid that. She's 17. No matter what you think, you are who you hang out with.
It's kind of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find another room. You need to be around people that are, for lack of a better term, better than you.
And if you
strive to be more like them, rather than like, it's good for people to, more or less look up to you, but it's also, it's kind of a weight to bear, and people need, and you yourself need to have the drive of kind of having your other people that you're striving to be closer to.
Well, and if you're too comfortable being the smartest person in the room, then I think you're kind of a dick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think
because you want to be,
you're probably complacent.
You got some issues,
you
bro.
might have your own internal intelligence that's kind of like helping you get to that point, but are you pushing yourself?
Exactly.
You know?
And why are you comfortable being the best in the room?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. And it's like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Dude,
you know?
I learned that in music, man. I had a guy, I sang in a band in California, and there's a ska band. Great. It was super fun. And that's what the one guy, whenever he asked me to sing, I was like, dude, I was like, all you guys have degrees in music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he goes, dude, you can sing. And I was like, yeah, sure. But there's so many other people that are way better that, you know. He goes, look, man, a lot of these people have talent.
Yeah.
But drive beats talent.
Yeah.
If you work hard and you practice, you're 9 times out of 10, that person's always going to be better.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the people with talent take it for granted.
Yeah, and I think singing's also like you put a little soul into it. If you're not the best, you know, educated.
You put a little bit of more effort into it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I think, I don't know, sports is kind of what I grew up around, and that was like inverse of me. And like I was kind of talented, but I didn't really work hard at it. And
that was me with
like,
sports too, bro.
I just I knew at an early age sports wasn't going to be my ticket. I just like,
dude, I'm 5'9".
Being a stumpy white guy, I'm not going to go very far, to be honest.
I topped out at 9th grade, and I was like, "Yep, this is it."
Oh yeah, dude. And granted, it was a blast, dude. But it was also, seeing the grind on other people on like,
yeah, man,
this is their ticket.
Yeah, man.
And how they would get after it. And it's like, yeah, that's motivating.
And it's also looking at one thing too that I had to work on as a kid is that I would get jealous of people's grind.
Yeah.
And I would get shitty about it.
Right.
And I'd be like, instead of taking it and looking at it and being like, I need to do that in my lane, I would just get shitty. And I'd just be like, man, fuck that guy working so hard.
For sure, dude.
Yeah,
and then, I think that's a battle everybody kind of needs to be aware of. Don't get jealous, get better.
Don't get jealous, get better, bro. Yeah, there was it wasn't that long because I noticed it pretty quick, and I was just like, I'm very reflective.
Yeah.
And it's probably about a year where I found myself getting shitty and something inside of me, and then I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I was like, oh, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
Stop it.
For sure, dude. And the mirror exposes all, man. If you're willing to actually look at it and really look at yourself and what are you not doing that you could be doing?
Absolutely.
Versus thinking you're doing everything. And it's like, are you? If you were, you wouldn't be in a shitty situation.
That part.
It's like grind. Go get better at something.
Fuck yeah. Go do something.
Just do something.
Move. Don't stay still.
Yeah, movement's medicine.
Hell yeah.
You gotta get moving. Do something.
Dude, Travis, this was dope.
Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed it, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fun.
Hell yeah. I had a blast, dude. Are you kidding me? Anything else that you want to leave any of the listeners with, man? Any kind of, I've asked all my questions.
Yeah, dude. I think we touched on a lot, man. I think
so too.
To having, life, good times and bad are both temporary.
Yep.
Understand that while you're in it and work to set up a foundation for yourself to keep going, and that foundation is built on perspective, habits, motivation, and, just keep going. One foot in front of the other as through all of it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Dude, I appreciate you guys for listening, man.
Thanks, y'all.
This is the man. If you have any questions, just put down in the comments and stuff. I'm sure, we'll take a look at it. And if there's anything that you need to know, maybe he'll reach out to you. Maybe not. Doesn't
got any questions?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys, man. And I appreciate you sitting in the chair with me, man.
Happy
Seriously.
to be here. Thanks for asking.
Yes, sir.
First podcast I've ever done. And it's kind of fun. Just talking.
Dude, we've been at it for almost an hour and a half.
That was an hour and a half?
Almost.
Oh, man, you weren't lying.
I told you.
You get in a zone, you just keep going.
I told you. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, bro.
Awesome,
I appreciate
dude.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.